wild, man.
Yeah.
What a waste of money getting that cash.
I know, right?
Oh, man. I guess it's just a sad situation all around. My name's Jason.
My name is Julian.
And
we doing
filmographies. But not today.
No, never again, actually.
Today we have a very special event.
We do.
It's the second
Day of pits.
pick of the week.
Yeah.
Jules picks.
My pick.
Jules,
Yeah.
you like movies?
I do.
What'd you pick?
I picked The Glimmer Man.
Oh, man. Steven Seagal, who was initially in The Hat.
Yeah, yeah.
And we said, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You're a bad guy.
Shoo.
And then you said, hold my beer. We're going to do a Seagal.
Yeah. You know, when we get these free picks, man, it's just like a kid in the candy store.
It's time to have some fun.
Do I do this that I've been talking about? Do I do this that we just mentioned that I'm excited to watch?
Uh-huh.
Nah, you know what? I'm just going to go with The Glimmer Man.
Yeah.
And it just popped up randomly on YouTube, a free version of it that had like, I don't know, Malaysian subtitles or something.
Uh-huh.
And I got to a few minutes in and I said, no. I'm going to save this one. And then you mentioned you wanted to watch an action movie for your pick. So I was like, fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, man. How fun.
Yeah. I think I was inadvertently getting this mixed up with Low Down Dirty Shame.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was thinking this was more of a Keenan vehicle. And Seagal was in it.
Yeah, it's probably like 70% Seagal, 30% Keenan.
Yeah, it's a Seagal vehicle. But it's a springboard for Keenan to then go on to do Low Down Dirty Shame.
No.
And
Low Down Dirty Shame is before this.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's after this? Nothing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably a handful of things that nobody watched.
Because I only can remember I'm going to get you Lowdown and this.
Right. And Lowdown apparently has a horrible score
Oh, yeah. It's
on
terrible.
the internet.
He does a thing where he wears trench coats.
Yeah.
It's like you're too tall. Wasn't what I was expecting or remembered.
1996.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more of a brainless action flick.
This is a post-7 movie. I said that to Jenny, and then I realized that's a pointless thing to say. But, like, there's some bad, like, title cuts and, like, some weird images. They like that
The
heat camera
get
thingy.
really weird in the beginning because I watched a few minutes of it on this YouTube cut with whatever the subtitles were.
It looks like the credits for Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Yeah, or like a Predator movie.
Yeah.
And I missed the initial credits when it's just regular and normal. So when I caught that, because I was fast forwarding through it, like, is this really the full movie? And it was, but I was like, oh, they did a weird effect to punish you for trying to watch it.
Nope.
No, it's the movie.
That's really there.
Yeah, this film, man. So the tagline for this movie is LAPD Lieutenants Cole and Campbell are on a serial killer's trail and in each other's way.
Yeah.
Which is not good. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, this had an estimated budget of $45 million.
That's too much.
Isn't it?
That's way too much.
And it grossed worldwide $20 million.
Yeah.
Far too much.
This is not long after Seagal's run.
No, I think this is what we mentioned before. It's where he's plateaued, but has yet to crater.
I think this is the beginning of the down.
The beginning of the down, yeah. Because after this, I think is on Deadly Ground.
I don't know. I can never figure it out.
Possibly Under Siege 2.
I feel like those might be before this. I feel like Under Siege 2 might have come out in like 94 or something like that.
95, but you still know more than Jules.
Well, so here's the thing. Originally, Brian Cox came in at the last minute. He replaced Tommy Lee Jones.
Did they not get along, Tommy Lee and Steven Seagal?
I bet Tommy Lee was like, I've had my fair share of this shit. I'm going to do The Fugitive Part 2.
This guy's a fucking dickhead. You mean U.S. Marshals?
That, yeah. According to Keenan Ivory Wayans, I always thought Ivory was an interesting facet of his name.
Yeah.
You think it's like really his middle name?
Yeah.
Or it's not a hyphen, so it's not like a hyphen
no,
last name.
That's his middle name.
Ah, it's so weird.
I feel like his parents thought it was classy.
But not for the other Wayans. They don't get middle names.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they do, but yeah, it's interesting that is there another Keenan Wayans? He thinks it sounds fancy too.
Ebony Wayans. It's his lesser known black sheep twin brother. According to Keenan Ivory Wayans, one time during production, after waiting for a very long time for Seagal to show up, because he was noted to be just, he didn't give a fuck. I'm here. Seagal appeared with a script and had mentioned how it was the greatest script he had ever read in his entire life.
Interview with the Vampire?
Well, when Wayans asked who wrote it, Seagal responded.
He wrote it?
He wrote it. I wonder what it was. On Deadly Ground.
This reminds me of when, maybe it's Chuck Klosterman, somebody's hanging out with Val Kilmer, and Val Kilmer's like telling them about this amazing guy and like his history and all these amazing things he's done. And they're like, oh, and he's like, yeah, it's this guy, the Christian Scientist, because he's a Christian Scientist. Like, he found a way to work it into the conversation. Like, this is the leader of the religion that Jesus founded it. I don't know.
Christianity and science don't mix.
Well, of course not. That's why the Christian Scientists are like, we don't do medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what about that scientist part? No, what we mean is God is the science. We don't do science. God science.
Jerk. According to Stephen Tobolowsky, Steven Seagal wanted to change the scene in which Seagal's character killed Tobolowsky's character, Maynard. Due to his spiritual beliefs, Seagal did not want to kill villains in his movies anymore. You believe that? Tobolowsky convinced him that Maynard would be able to be reincarnated and redeemed by being killed. Stephen agreed. Seagal, that is.
Yeah.
And the scene was filmed as written. However, a few months later, Seagal wanted to change the scene to show that Maynard survived the shooting. And Tobolowsky had come in to do some overdub lines to indicate that in fact Maynard was still alive, and they didn't use that.
That's great.
It's so stupid.
I like Tobolowsky. He had that Tobolowsky Files podcast. It was just like all stories about his life and being in movies.
Mm-hmm. That's the kind of guy you want to hear stories from.
Yeah.
Because he's just in everything, but he's not the lead in it. So he's at the mercy of Steven Seagal walking around in this weird gold lame jackets.
Listen, Steven, I'm just here to really kill Maynard and do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
We could not ruin that. That'd be great.
Maynard was a good character, too.
Yeah, but Tobolowsky's a great actor.
He is. This probably hints at why the budget was so big. After the film was completed, Warner Brothers conducted additional editing on the film to make it faster and more like a regular Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting phrase. If this would have been an irregular Steven Seagal movie, what would that have been like?
Apparently longer, with maybe more talk about spiritual things and less killing.
Well, some of the cut scenes from that original edit included several comedic and dramatic exchanges between Keenan and Steven, and a great deal of Michelle Johnson's scenes, Steven's wife, were cut.
It's so wild when he comes home and that's his wife. You're like, what? You got this beautiful young wife. And
I'm looking at his house. And I go to Callie. I'm like, that doesn't seem like his house. And then it immediately cuts to him in his Buddhist barn.
Yeah.
I go, okay. Now we're talking.
Why are we acting like this is just some regular guy?
Yeah, right.
Coming home from work.
With his ex-wife and his kids that this young child bride is helping him raise.
Yep.
Originally envisioned as a much larger action picture, similar to The Last Boy Scout, several action scenes were removed to cut down the budget. They included the bombing of a boat owned by Keenan's character, who initially lived on a houseboat instead of in an apartment, an encounter between Seagal and a SWAT team that had raided his house, and the final confrontation and gunfight at a Los Angeles museum.
Sounds kind of cool.
It does.
Last Boy Scout fucking rules.
Mm-hmm. They were probably like, well, let's just have him slap the guy at the end several times.
Are you going to pick Last Boy Scout for your next pick?
Jason, why you got to ruin it?
I wish. That'd be so great.
John Malkovich, Ron Perlman, Ed Harris, Viggo Mortensen, Michael Keaton, and Alec Baldwin were considered to play Donald Cunningham.
That's the Shawshank warden?
No, that's the guy who looks like a monk, who's the bad guy's henchman.
Oh, yeah. He looks like, is it Mitch Pileggi from the X-Files? Mulder's boss?
Is that his name? Yes, it is. You're right. I kept thinking of Xander Berkeley, but he's a different guy.
He is.
He was the boss on 24 for a while before he died in the show.
Yeah. This guy is a little dorky.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked him. I found him interesting, but sometimes I'd be like, "Ooh, he looks like a hard ass when he's marching along," and then he looks like he is from Office Space the other times.
Yeah, because right before we first meet him, when they go to that school, there's like monks or friars that work there. They're not just priests.
Nuns.
They have those brown robes with the ropes on them.
Yeah.
So then when he goes to
cool hair.
Yeah, so when he goes to approach Steven Seagal in the police precinct shortly thereafter, he's wearing a brown rain jacket.
A tunic is
and he's got the balding horseshoe.
Uh-huh.
And Callie goes, is he one of them monks from the school?
Next wave monk.
Yeah. And finally, uncredited stuntman Chad Stahelski.
Channing Tatum?
Broke his collarbone while working on this movie.
Oh, is that why he became an actor? Channing Tatum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Chad Stahelski?
Channing Tatum?
You know that guy?
No. Who is he? No.
He directed John Wick.
Oh.
He's a stuntman.
Yeah.
That Keanu Reeves championed. I think Man of Tai Chi is better than John Wick. What do you think about that?
I haven't seen it.
What do you think about that statement?
There was like a handful of Keanu. You know, there was like a decade of Keanu movies. And you're like, well, I'm not going to watch that. Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound good. Was it 47 Ronin? Is that
pretty
one
much
too?
Everything after The Matrix was just like bomb after bomb. Yeah, 47 Ronin. Constantine, although I enjoy parts of it.
It's charming. It's not the hit that people act like it is.
Gavin Rossdale is fucking baller in there.
Is he the devil?
No, he's the lizard guy. He does that sometimes.
Oh, Peter Stormare is the devil.
Yeah, Peter Stormare.
And Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, it's breakout role from being a child actor.
Yeah.
And ruined his career because it introduced the world of Shia LaBeouf. Why don't you give me that synopsis?
The Glimmer Man, Detective Jim Campbell, Keenan Ivory Waynes, is hunting a serial killer with no real leads. Lieutenant Jack Coleslaw, Steven Seagal, a hotshot New York detective new to the LA division, is hoping to bring fresh eyes with the Far East lean to crack the case. Things are not as they appear after initially responding to a hostage-suicide situation involving disgruntled teenager Johnny Deverell, although I thought they were calling him Johnny Devil, Johnny Strong, whose father, Frank Deverell, Bob Gunton, I think he's actually stepfather, is just revealed to be the bad guy, pretty much. Now Cole and Campbell will need to put their admittedly not all that diametrically opposed differences aside in order to learn to trust each other, to find a glimmer of hope to solve the case, which shouldn't be a problem, since one of them is
the Glimmer Man. Yeah, he's alive. He's 78.
Way to go, Bob Gunton.
He was on Star Trek.
I mean, he is the warden from Shawshank, right?
I don't know.
Have you not seen that?
I don't know.
People like that movie, so you're like, I'm going to have to say, fuck that.
It's just one of those movies, like, everybody knows it, and then it's on TV, and I catch it in clips and blips here and there, and I'm just like, this is one of the worst-looking movies ever made.
Oh, really?
You know? It's boring. I don't want this.
Maybe you have to be like a little bit hungover and it's on TNT and you watch it with all those goddamn commercials.
I always turn it off and watch the entire run of Prison Break instead.
Nice. Same thing.
They're going to finally get out. Oh, they don't. Oh, but they're out. Oh, no, they're
It's also a love story.
Yeah. So this film here,
yeah,
Glimmer Man, right? It's fast paced. L.A. Wow, wow, wow. And then
you're doing the credits?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then a guy, all of a sudden it gets really gunky and weird. And a guy's walking around with a laser pointing pistol just nonchalantly.
Yeah.
And he pops two fuckers in the brain. Glimmer Man. And then it cuts to Keenan doing his sort of camaraderie ad-libbing in his police precinct.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a donut. Why don't you just put the sugar in your veins? And walks into his office and there's a poster on the wall of...
It's that cat and it says, hang in there.
It's Casablanca. And he does a dumb thing where he sees Steven Seagal sitting at his desk. So he steps out of the office and looks to make sure his nameplate is still on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was my office. Oh, sorry. I'm new to the case. I'm just looking it over.
Steve?
Yeah.
Steven Seagal here in this basement?
Oh, you're Cole from New York. You did the asparagus case or whatever. Yeah. I'm also like religious and shit.
Look, I got these fucking Tibetan prayer beads around my neck.
Mm-hmm. You'll ask me about it later.
Check out all my sweet-ass coats.
Yeah.
I look real cool.
And he goes, oh, well, we're doing this serial killer thing. Yeah, the
Family Man.
Family Man.
Is it the Family Man?
I think so. Because he,
Is it Nicolas Cage?
kills families and crucifies them.
Yeah.
I guess. And then the chief comes in. Oh, we got a new one. Let's go. Let's roll.
Do I have time to wash up? No, come on!
First of all, the concept of this movie is actually really good.
Yeah. What about it? The serial killer angle?
The serial killer angle with the extra thing on top of it. Is it possible that Keenan Ivory Wayans kind of sucks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He absolutely sucks. He's the worst part of everything he's done.
I think he might be like a funny writer, but he's missing like the charm. I think it's the difference between Shawn Wayans and Marlon Wayans, where like Marlon Wayans, you're like, you know what, I like that guy. And Shawn Wayans, you're like, what's this guy doing? Keenan
and Damon more so than Marlon and Sean. They really have a voice that just does not lend credence to the idea that they're tough.
Yeah.
Keenan tried to lean super hard into being a tough guy.
Yeah.
And his voice just unfortunately betrays him.
Well, and his fucking alien monster head.
And the fact that he's like 9 feet tall. And he wears floppy sweaters and shit. And they have a weird subplot where he doesn't want to admit to, but feverishly cries while watching Casablanca.
Every time he watches it, he's overcome.
So they get to the scene and it's at a motel and there's, surely enough, 2 motherfuckers crucifix to the wall.
I would like to touch on the fact that the serial killer, I would hate to be killed, shot in the head and whatnot. Most of the serial killers like torture you and kill you while you're being crucified. That is how you die. It's horrible and long. They don't just shoot you in the head before they do anything bad to your body.
Right.
This guy is great like that. That's nice of him.
Like a Jeremy Sisto.
So this is supposed to be... Oh, no. Laser Sights is not Sammy Jenkins. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know where you're going.
Thank you.
But I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he just pops them in the melon and then crucifies them. Now, at first, I wasn't sure if he was trying to hide the fact that he shot him with the crown of thorns.
No.
But I'm like, well, surely they're going to take those off and realize that they've been shot. But then again, Tobolo, he's a hired gun, too.
No, I think he's mentally ill.
He's mentally ill, but he's been hired to do these things, I think, hasn't he?
No, the way he says that, I think they're orders from God.
Okay.
I don't think somebody's giving him orders.
Is he shooting people then?
The 2 murders that we see, I do not believe are Toblo. That's the people. Okay.
Yeah.
He must be, but I can't imagine it's smooth with lasers like that. No,
because I was like a little confused. I understood what was going on, but I'm like, he's just shooting families and then posing them?
It would make a lot more sense if Tobolowsky was torturing them to death, because that's his job and what he has to do. And this other guy's just like popping him in the head. But no way that would fly. The bullets would be the thing that people would say, oh, this is a different killer trying to blend in.
Because if you are crucifying someone, like that in and of itself is the act. They didn't kill Jesus and then string him up.
No.
But then also...
I think he starved to death though, right?
Well, they stabbed him and shit.
Yeah.
So they managed to also match the caliber of the gun that Steven was using in their killings.
Yes. It seems like it was a perfect match that only Steven Seagal could be like two different killers.
Does he say that?
No.
Okay.
So
they must be. They must be matching them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. So, oh shit, they're dead. Okay, and they leave, and they get a call. We've got a apparent suicide hostage situation going on. Oh yeah, we'll take care of that. What? What are you doing?
Yeah.
We're detectives, Oh, well, I like to think that, we got to respect the dead, the dying. I'm a spiritual man.
It's all the same thing. Now, Julian, I like Steven Seagal in this.
He's annoying. He has an annoying aura, But he himself is fine in here, actually. Yeah.
He's charming
Mm-hmm.
and a bit funny. There's one line in this movie where I was like, that's really funny. After Keenan's apartment explodes, and he's like, hey, can I have those CDs? They look like they'd still work. That's like so fucking funny.
If that was off the cuff,
No
fucking
way.
Tits off, man.
No way. No way he came up with that.
I said while I was watching this, I said, I'm really glad that they're not at odds with each other
Over
to
race?
the extent that I was expecting.
Okay.
Race or just whatever it was. I was expecting them to really be jibing with each other.
If it was the 80s, race would probably be the focal point. But
Oh, sure.
they're just,
They don't know each other.
yeah, they're just like slightly different.
It kind of felt like, oh no, is this going to be like, I need you to, no, I ain't going to do it. Blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, they pretty much just work together.
Yeah, it's not really a problem.
No, it's not at all.
It's a good partnership. They're both bringing something to the table.
Yeah, so they show up at this, Catholic school. And like I said, there's like friar-style monks there
Nope.
teaching.
Nuns, everybody's scurrying away and they're going towards it.
Although some of the kids, they're smiling because they're like, I'm in a movie.
I mean, Steven Seagal.
While they're
movie.
running around. And again, it must be mentioned, Steven Seagal is wearing some sort of I thought it was camouflage, but it's not. It's Asian pattern gold lame dinner jacket. I mean, it's incredibly bizarre.
I mean, that's the thing he always wears, right? Like the thing without the collar that buttons up all the way. He's always
I
wearing
feel like
those
this is just a
tops.
blazer.
Okay.
But then later, yeah, he's wearing what feels like a southwestern native jacket. When he approaches Stephen in the church, it's like we're all over the board here, And then he is actually, is he supposed to be Asian?
Seagal?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, hold this thought. So they're at the school, and it turns out that Johnny Deverell is
Johnny Devil?
he's got a gun,
Yeah.
and Nikki Cox is his girlfriend.
Johnny's got a gun. I couldn't remember her name. I know Nikki Cox very well. I know she's married to Jay Moore.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I said, oh, this is like right before she blows up, and then everybody stops caring about her.
Yeah, immediately. Well, I mean, she only blew up in that she was in Unhappily Ever After as like the little hottie, but I don't think that lasted.
She was in
long.
like one or two other things because her tits. And then, they were just like, oh, we don't care about this.
She's a pretty lady. I think she's pretty.
I always thought she was actually a pretty solid kind of comedic actor.
Yeah.
It's just tits. They're like, we got enough of these.
I wonder, she probably looks about the same but older, huh?
Yeah, she actually looks pretty good.
Oh, you saw her?
I did look her up.
Okay.
I didn't notice that she was married to Jay Moore.
Did she want to come on the podcast?
Hey, you know what? I'd accept it.
Hey, Nikki Cox, we both discovered right now that we like you.
Yeah.
Not in a sexual way.
No, I don't actually find you like attractive at all, but I think you really got some chops. Later in the movie when she reappears, I was expecting and disappointed that the dad didn't chime in while they were talking to her. I told you that not to bring that boy, something like that, like a typical.
His last name sounds like Devil. Don't bring him over here.
So he loves her. She's doesn't seem to be at odds with him, but apparently they're not dating, and he's got a gun and he's holding hostages.
Well, he's under high stress due to things that are happening at home that we don't know about.
Right. And Steven Seagal goes, hey, Keenan, get me 2 cell phones. And what he does is Keenan holds one cell phone up to the intercom loudspeaker, and Steven Seagal is talking in the other one because they got phones and phone services and
in this old building that probably would have blocked the signal. And it's to make you think he's in the office. He's not right outside your classroom ready to get you.
What it's made to think is that he is, I guess I don't know what they're trying to do, because in order to use the loudspeaker, he should be in the principal's office, but he tells him to look out the window.
Yeah.
Which is outside.
Yeah.
I mean, the building, it's the same building only feet away from the room he's in.
He's probably supposed to think that that's a
hostage guy?
A bullhorn, yeah.
Oh, but because he's an idiot and doesn't realize that it's
coming from inside the school.
Yeah.
It must be outside.
So he goes, I don't want to hurt you, man. Just look out the window. You see I'm unarmed. And he goes to the window, and Steven just walks in with his gun and points it at him. Hey, put your gun down. What?
I mean, it is there's a classroom full of children. It's disturbing.
Yeah, you don't want to surprise him, A, just in general, but B, while you with a gun in your hand. So he goes, I'll tell you what, I'll put the gun down. And Johnny goes, man, you don't understand. I can't go back.
You don't understand what's going on back there.
There ain't no going back, man.
There ain't no going back. He's 73 today, by the way.
Johnny
T-Bird.
Oh, word.
73 today.
He's in John Wick 2.
And
actually.
Me also.
Yeah.
Because 2.
Yeah. And so he's about to blow his own brains out. And Steven Seagal figures, you know what? I'm going to play this by the book. I'm going to tackle him.
Oh, boy.
Through the window.
Yep.
Through the other window.
Yep.
And
there's a big gap in between.
A pretty damn good gap.
Like, what, 6-7 feet?
If the window was like on the level below, I'd maybe buy it.
Yeah.
But, and then he's fine. She goes, I love you, Johnny. And he goes, I love you too.
Oh, but we're both bleeding to death because we went through 2 sheets of glass.
And I had a gun to my head with the finger on the trigger, and I probably would have pulled it while you tackled me.
And even if we didn't get our throats slit from going through the window, I bet when we land on a pile of glass, we're going to be in a lot of pain.
But because he played it by the book, I mean, they couldn't do anything.
And they're good. They're good to go.
So, and then Deverell shows up. Hey, who's the guy that did this? And they go, he's over there, man. And he goes over there. Hey, Steven, thank you for saving my child-in-law.
I love your ponytail. Can I run my hands through it?
Mm-hmm. No, well, I can tell that you're a compassionate kind of guy, so I thank you for coming down. But we're going to skedaddle. And as they're walking away, Cunningham goes, nice jacket. Bob Gunton goes, yeah, it is actually. So then we cut to immediately Bob Gunton and this Cunningham feller in Bob Gunton's Aztec office.
Yeah, I know. He seems like he's a rich guy.
Like an Egyptian tomb.
But kind of normal.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the inside of his house, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
And the outside.
Yeah.
Well, we see his pool.
Welcome to my lair.
Like, okay. And it's LA, by the way.
We rented a very expensive house for $10,000, and we're only shooting today.
I was kind of disappointed. I didn't recognize any of the locations in this movie.
Oh, but you're from there.
And I kept thinking, man, is this LA? I don't know.
You should text Bob Gunton.
I should. Bob, were you really there?
What if you became friends with Steven Seagal? Could you aggressively try to become friends with Steven Seagal? You can do your Republican thing with him, and he might be like, yeah.
He'd be about it.
Yeah.
I might have to, what do they call that? Defect. Become a Russian citizen, though.
Be like, hey, bro, with DMX dead, need a black rapper friend.
Hey, Steven, I'm actually DMX. I'm still alive. Oh, yeah, I can't tell the difference. You're kind of black and you're bald. Must be the same guy. Love it. Stop. Drop. Shut him down. Open up shop. Oh, so Bob Gunton, yeah, he's like, I'm a bad guy, and I want you to make sure Steven Seagal does what I want or whatever.
And hey, this bald nerd, he's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
He's the head of security.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's in Office Space.
Yeah. So when he threatens Steven, like, I need you to testify to make sure Johnny doesn't go to jail. This is the line that really scrambled my brain. He goes to the bad guy henchman. He goes,
now get your ugly white ass out of here. Don't come back.
This is why you brought that up?
Yeah, I'm like, so
is
he not white?
I think he's...
That's not something a white man says to another white man.
Well, but he's an enlightened white man.
That's true.
Who's adopted the Far East and Tibetan prayer.
He climbed Mount Everest?
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
The character, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a lie.
No, he's not lying. Thinking about that now, that part of the movie doesn't feel like any other part of this movie. And I'm like, is it in this movie?
It's so bizarre that he's likable in this movie because he obviously must have been, right?
Yeah.
He was a big superstar for a very small window of time. And in the future, 2023, we're like, oh, it's 2024, actually.
Yeah.
We're like, Steven Seagal sucks. He's always sucked. He's been making these awful movies forever where he's just fatting around, slow boxing people. But then you watch this one, you're like, oh, yeah.
So there's another murder, and they get there, and Steven Seagal seems nonplussed about it. And then the chief goes, hey, Keenan, we got a fingerprint. It's Steven Seagal. What? I mean, he was there. No, it predates us going there and him touching things while he was at the scene of the crime.
He didn't go around and touch each of the bodies.
He goes, all right, Chief, I need you to call your brother and get a dossier on him.
Isn't the print on the body?
It is.
Would you really find that?
You wouldn't. Why are they dusting the body for prints?
I don't think you do, because I don't think you leave prints on a body. I don't think that's a real thing.
There's a scene earlier from the first murder. Who were Russians? He goes, you notice anything about her? And he goes, yeah, she's got nice tits.
Oh, yeah.
And Steven Seagal goes, I think she's Russian, probably Georgian, based on her bone structure. And then he grabs a scalpel and he cuts her titty and he pulls out the implant.
And this is all with the coroner right there.
Yeah. It's like completely clean.
Yeah, there's no blood.
No viscera, no fat.
He can't do that.
No, you can't just start cutting up bodies.
They absolutely would not let you do that.
He goes, oh, hang on, puts on a glove.
Be like, sir,
Dude,
get out of here,
dude,
sir.
Yeah, you're desecrating this evidence and shit. Track it. It's got a number on it. It'll lead you to the identity of this person. But Keenan Ivory Wayans is looking at Steven Seagal sideways. Because when suspicion was cast upon him, they made a point of showing Steven Seagal across the room look at Keenan guiltily and then look away. It must be true.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and then earlier though, they're like, "Hey, we got an informant who wants to tell us about this killing. I need you guys to go meet him by the river. It's right where they dump Iggy Pop's body." So they go and they're driving up, and then they notice 3 kid guys, tough guys who are kid age, sort of teen, 20-year-old dudes or whatever, breaking into a car.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, we better stop that. And he goes, it's a crime. We're not here for that. And they get out of the car with their guns drawn. Hey, jerkos, stop doing that. And they turn around like, fuck you, melonhead.
I was almost like, oh, is that their car?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Are you guys bothering them when it's their car?
Because there's like one completely stripped shell of a car when they drive in. And then the next car is like a vintage Mustang. So I'm like, what is this? It's under a bridge, but there's an office and it's a loading dock and there's a big spike. So all of a sudden these Russian dudes come out from the office and they go, all right, everybody, drop your guns. Oh my God. We are here to teach you a death lesson.
I remember something great that's coming.
And
Go
Keenan,
ahead.
yeah, this is what I saw and I go, we're watching this. And so Keenan puts his gun down. Mind you, these guys are just like 5 or 6 guys, and they all got guns, and they're pointing them at him.
Yeah.
So he puts his gun down, and he goes to Steven. He goes, I guess we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way.
With bullets that shred?
Fisticuffs.
Yeah.
What makes you think that that's an option?
I mean, they all have guns pointed at you, but the 2 of you are going to fight the 10 of them?
And they were like, we're here to kill him.
Yeah.
Specifically. Mm-hmm. So we tell you to drop your guns, and that opens you up to the option of fighting us?
Well, I guess we better make this fair, and we'll put our guns down and fight you.
So Steven goes, well, I can't fight.
What do you mean you can't fight? It's a fine time to tell me now.
I'm Buddhist, man. And he goes, how much he go, well, we're paid to kill you, Steven. And he goes, how about I double what they're paying you to kill me, to not kill me?
I got like $53 in my wallet.
He goes, you ain't got that kind of money. He's got, I got several $1,000s in my wallet. I'm going to get it out. Oh, you take plastic? And he pulls out a credit card, clicks something on it, and it reveals that it has a hidden razor blade.
That kind of pops up and out. It's not really like part of the car.
Flips out or it comes through it somehow.
It's like an actual razor blade just goes.
Yeah, it's a fucking James Bond device.
But janky.
Like incredibly specific and can only be used in this scenario.
The James Bond credit card the edges would be a razor blade. It would not be a razor blade that pops out.
Darts or some shit. Right, yeah. And he just cuts 3 men's throats.
My friend, he's a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. What does that mean? Just an expression. Why,
and they're dead.
And then they fucking kill everybody else.
And they're just fighting and getting beat up, but beating guys up. Because then the 3 kid guys, they also get in on the action. And then Steven Seagal, the last guy, he throws him off the loading dock, it turns out they're on. And he impales, that guy is impaled by I don't know, tractor
Yeah.
thing.
But the place he fell, he fell over 5 feet and down like 1. And he still was impaled on, not spikes. They're like the squared edges on each of those prongs on that scooper.
It's like something you put on the front of a cat or something. Like
to scoop up a pile of dirt.
Yeah, or like, I don't know.
Not sharp razor monster teeth.
No.
It's pretty wild.
It would like, oh, my back. And you'd fall down.
I don't know that we see enough movies these days where like the good guys
just killing,
murder everybody, because that's happening on Reacher right now. We're
exactly, yeah.
It's like they'll fight people and be like, "Oh, they actually made sure to kill everyone."
Yeah, they are killing everybody.
They didn't just beat them up, which has been a problem of mine in movies and TV shows forever. It's like, well, you should kill that person; they're going to get you later.
Yeah,
but then these people are just like, "Yeah, no, I killed them all."
They get a tip somehow. Johnny was like brought into his stepdad's operation. I don't understand why they would have done that.
I think he accidentally overheard something. They didn't like bring him in intentionally, right?
When we meet Brian Cox, who turns out to be bad, spoiler alert.
Yeah, of course.
He goes, "There's only a couple of people who know what we're doing here.
3
your
of
son,
them.
Your body man, and you. 2 of them got to go." And I'm like,
I think it was like 5 people.
Well, what the fuck? Why is the son in on the operation?
Yeah.
Even if he just stumbled in, he seems like he's pretty well versed in what the hell's going on here. Because he tells his psychiatrist, because they have him committed, and now they kill her.
But didn't he not ever tell the psychiatrist?
He must have.
I thought they just assumed he did.
Oh, well, that's even worse.
He didn't do that.
So Bob Gunton and his henchman,
Mitch Pileggi from the X-Files,
along with Brian Cox, who's a congressman who worked with Steven Seagal, who it turns out wasn't just a cop, but was somehow like a badass CIA hitman.
Yeah.
Who stopped doing it because he went to kill someone in like China and inadvertently spent 7 years in Tibet and became enlightened.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to do that anymore. But he had a wife.
We don't like that shit.
And 2 kids, but his kids are only like 12 and 13 maybe. But his wife was killed because she's the second murder scene.
Yep.
But it's the 7th total or whatever. That's why his fingerprints were there. So the psychiatrist is killed because she may or may not know something. Johnny's in danger. Bob Gunton and his boy... What is it that they're doing? Is it drugs?
They import drugs, right? Like large amounts of them. I think I was surprised to find out it was just drugs and not.
Is it drugs? I thought it was maybe
power.
And now I'm thinking of Reacher. Is it terrorism?
No, I think it's drugs.
Okay.
It's like opiates or something, heroin.
Yeah, because the first couple that's killed, they're Russian. Their sister or something was a mule for Bob Gunton. So they killed them in the fashion of the serial killer to hide their motive, which I thought, yeah, it was very clever.
That's such a good idea.
It's a very clever conceit. Unfortunately, the serial killer aspect is a little convoluted, but then they kill Steven Seagal's wife as a message to Steven Seagal.
Does his actual
ex-wife?
His ex-wife.
She's the second victim.
Yeah, but she dies before he's really got his hands in it.
Right. So I'm like, why did they kill her?
No, his wife is the psychiatrist, no?
She was the psychiatrist?
To the kid, yeah.
Because I feel like they keep saying the psychiatrist's name, but not, it's my wife.
I mean, it could have been the husband because they killed the husband and the wife, but I thought it was the wife.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. But when we meet a psychiatrist, she gives...
No, are they matching the drawings on the walls?
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, where's the nearest church?" Because they've realized that they get a tip that it's Stephen Tobolowsky who's the killer, and they all rush to his house. But Steven Seagal goes, no, he's going to be at a church.
Is that how that works? I don't think they get a tip. He says that this artwork, these little stick figures that the family man is leaving in blood on the walls, he's doing whole murals of childish art.
Oh, so that psychiatrist is Stephen Tobolowsky's psychiatrist?
Yeah, they said send it to the jails and the psychiatric hospitals. If anybody's run across the guy that does these pictures, it's memorable.
Okay.
And that'll help us find him. And then she is immediately like, oh man, this is my favorite guy when he was in jail. It's Stephen Tobolowsky.
And she only calls Steven Seagal, or he happens to answer the phone, I guess. So he goes to get Stephen Tobolowsky instead of calling anybody.
Yeah.
I
think he tried to beat them there. Yeah, because they're going to his house.
They're going to his house. He has the foresight to go to a church. And instead of calling Keenan or his chief, hey, I think maybe we should look at this. Instead, no, he just goes there by himself in his Southwestern Marcus Sonoma jacket. Stephen Tobolowsky is there.
Julian?
Yeah.
I think there's something we need to do.
Okay.
We need to get those jackets and we need to grow ponytails.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey.
Long ones. Maybe with knots in them?
Oh, sure.
Okay. All right. As long as you understand and you know.
Now, Stephen, he's got his gun to the priest, and Stephen's like, don't kill the priest. And Stephen's like, no, man, I'm about to.
He's doing double Stevens on purpose?
Yeah. And he goes, hey, priest, get out of here. He goes, yeah, all right. And he just walks out. And he goes, I don't want to hurt you, man. And he goes, nah, you're going to have to. And he draws on Stephen, and Stephen shoots Stephen, and Stephen dies.
Yeah. But he shoots him kind of in the shoulder.
He does. Not even kind of. He absolutely shoots him directly in his shoulder.
And it kills him. And then also, Steven Seagal is like an amazing guy, right? This character. Mm-hmm. I think he easily could have put one bullet in like the arm with the gun, and he'd be like, "Ah, fuck!"
It was obvious that Stephen Tobolowsky really had no intention of shooting him. He was threatening him to get him to kill him.
Yeah, it's suicide by cop.
He could have just shot him in his leg, but he didn't. And his chief's like, "Why did you kill him, man?"
I didn't know that he would bleed to death out of the tip of his shoulder.
And Keenan confronts him, "Hey, your file's blank on your history. You're just a ghost, man."
And what, you didn't know there's an artery right on your shoulder bump?
Oh, and then there's a funny scene where Stephen goes to an Italian restaurant to confront Brian Cox.
Sure.
And the guy on the phone, I'm sorry, ma'am, we're booked out solid. And Stephen's banging on the bell. Uh-huh. Hey, fuck ass, what are you? And he just slams him. He does something.
Julian, stop right there.
Okay,
so the guy answers the phone and he says in an Italian accent, "I'm so sorry, we can't do your thing, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And then he gets off the phone, he's like, "Fuck you, Steven Seagal, what are you fucking doing?" And this is what Steven Seagal does. He like slaps him twice in the face.
Yes.
And he takes his body and he throws himself into the wall.
He is
And it's
fucked.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
As though Steven Seagal is Superman and tapped him lightly and flung him into the wall, and he goes right to the ground.
And then he grabs the phone and he goes, "Yeah, come on down, we'll get you a table." Hangs it up, and then he goes back, and Brian Cox is having dinner or a feast.
Well, he has to fight 11 people before he gets to Brian Cox. There is a
the
wall.
first guy stops him.
Okay.
And he throws him through the wall.
Oh, and then he gets to Brian Cox.
And then Brian Cox, he goes, "All right, guy I'm talking to, get out of here." And then he eats a cannoli. And, "Well, man, blah, blah, blah. I know you're a killer, whatever."
And that cannoli's not good, apparently. He doesn't look impressed.
No, he's not.
Seems like it's straight trash.
So why do you have a cannoli hanging out while you're still eating your entrees?
Well,
you know,
take the cannoli, leave the meatball.
Get a side of cannoli. So then Stephen goes, "Well, hey, Brian Cox, I don't know, something." And he leaves, and then the guy who he threw through the window walks up to Steven Seagal, and he goes,
"If you ever pull that shit with me again, I'll kill you. And all you little Chinese mushu pork potions in the world will not save you next time."
It's like, dude, he just threw you through a fucking window. And so he just starts yanking his arm and flipping him and making him, punch himself in the face and shit.
You shouldn't knock Chinese potions. I have something in my pocket right now that'll completely clear up that bruise on your forehead.
What bruise?
And then 3 to 6 guys show up, and they all know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And they're just, wow, wow. And the wait staff is just like behind the bar watching this fight unravel.
I wouldn't get involved. I
would
would
have gotten
leave.
the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
That's what Callie goes, why the fuck are they? Because then they go behind the bar.
Yeah.
And they run out. And then Steven Seagal just demolishes this place.
Well, he does. But then when the person calls, he says it's going to be like, how many months is it?
He does this thing where he looks around like he's assessing the damage, and it's just the fucking worst. "I think we're going to be renovating for 2 months.
Yeah. What I was going to say, why I mentioned this is, I feel like he demolished just a very small center area. And I don't think it would take 2 months. Maybe if you're like trying to rebuild it perfectly so that nobody can tell anything happened.
No, he broke a couple tables, some chairs.
Like a dividing wall.
Maybe the bar, some of the drinks and shit.
Maybe a week?
The foundation's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Did you take care of this in about a week?
Sweep it up.
You and me. We can handle
We
it.
take care of it in a day.
Hey, Steven Seagal, you come back, visit us. It's all good.
So Brian Cox is doing like a Southern accent?
Yeah, it
for
just
some reason
pops up sometimes.
But he's a congressman in California.
But maybe he moved.
Maybe.
Born and raised in Florida, and then I moved to California when I was about to become president of California.
So yeah, Brian Cox tells Bob Gunton, "You need to kill these people, or I'll kill you." And he goes, "All right, cool." And he sends somebody to kill his stepson. But Steven Seagal gets there in time and stops him.
This shit's crazy too.
Guy opens up the door, Steven Seagal just shoots him.
Fucking shoots him in the head.
And it's like, damn, man. Where was the nurse?
Eventually all the nuns come. It's so crazy that they just murdered a guy.
So he goes, yeah, this is what happened. My dad, I guess, is doing drugs stuff, something. They come to Steven Seagal's house to arrest him, but they're not really cops.
I feel like this happened earlier.
The Russian mob guys probably did.
Yeah.
And he forces them to flip the car, and as it's upside down careening through the streets, he just rolls out the back window, and it just collides with a gas tanker truck that's just like blocking the road and explodes.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he just runs away.
Yeah, it's pretty
Steven
amazing.
Seagal style.
Yeah, Jenny started laughing hysterically. She's like, there it is.
I said, hey, look how he runs. You arrested it.
Is that not similar to Tom Cruise?
It's not. What Steven Seagal does, he does that thing when guys run marathons where they're almost like pushing the air.
Chop knife in it.
Yeah, he's cutting the air as he breaks the sound barrier.
Okay.
They don't run any better than Tom Cruise in a movie, I tell you that.
We do say that a lot.
He runs in Top Gear.
Top Gear?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise in Top Gear.
He runs in Top Gear.
Top Gear, the TV show?
The gear he's on when he's running, it's the top.
Okay. I thought that
There's
was
no in between. There's no jogging.
that was a project he was in.
It's just...
Would you like to see him jog?
I would.
Tommy C, can you do that for us? Just do a little light jogging in a movie, not intense.
Yep.
Thank you. Julia would like that.
Awesome.
So, but I mean, okay, so when they show up at his house, he's like, honey, I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Go up to the bedroom with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, it's us, internal affairs. We're in suits. We have umbrellas. Come in the car with us.
Did you notice that when he leaves the house and the guy holds his umbrella over Steven grabs it and they're both holding it together?
I did not see that. I thought you were going to be like, the whole family watched him get arrested out the window.
Oh, they did, but no.
Why would you do that?
They didn't
Why would you
handcuff
be
him
like,
either.
Hey, kids,
Why don't you handcuff him?
your daddy, the police officer, is being arrested by the police officers. I guess let's watch through the window. It could be the last time we see him.
And why didn't they handcuff him?
Because he's a cop.
So what? I mean, you're assassins trying to kill this guy. You might
So
as well
they
fucking...
definitely should have cuffed him.
You're right, because he's, the deadliest man in the world.
And he only knows they're Russians because that goddamn cross
Same
appears
tattoo
on the wrist.
that he saw on someone earlier.
Somebody killed.
Oh, the guy that he didn't kill with his credit card.
Oh.
The only guy alive. Because he goes, who sent you? And Keenan goes, let me. He goes, oh, you speak Russian? He goes, yeah. He slams his head against the car a couple times.
But it's like a weird tender smashing to make sure the guy doesn't get hurt.
And he goes, oh, that's some Russian. He goes,
Yes, black Russian.
this movie, there really is a lot of it that does not involve Keenan.
Yeah, he doesn't factor into any of this talk.
No, there's a moment where he is crying at Casablanca at a movie theater because apparently it's just playing.
You've seen that movie?
No. And he goes to Keenan, Keenan goes to Steven. He goes, yeah, you seen Casablanca? And he goes, no, I haven't. He goes, oh man, come watch it. He goes, I will.
I guess now we know what my next pick's going to be.
Then there's a part where Keenan's in his apartment looking at files or something. And homeboy comes in to kill him.
Mitch Pileggi.
And they're fighting. And he's really whooping on Keenan's ass.
Yeah, Keenan's getting some good blasts in there here and there, but Mitch Pileggi is clearly the superior fighter.
Earlier, when he fights Steven, he puts Mitch Pileggi's head through a tube television. And he's perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah, this is when he's wearing the ski mask.
And they're
right?
in the pigeon coop and shit. Yeah.
Bruno, quit licking your blanket. Bruno, come on.
It's so good, though.
That's so gross. Bruno.
Let's look at his foot.
Is it the foot?
It's both. Now it's the blanket.
God, yeah, no, he was doing the blanket earlier.
My dog used to do that when I had a dog. I hated it so much.
Yeah, don't do that. It's so gross. We see you doing it, and we say, "What? No."
So they're fighting, and Keenan's apartment just starts on fire.
No.
What happens? What does he knock over?
Julian, he shoves the stove out of the way, and it exposes the tube of gas.
Before
shooting
that,
in the air.
They're fighting, and he like knocks over like a radio or something, and it starts a fire. And now like the curtains are up, and then the
that works its way towards the gas stove.
The oven's
You're
exposed,
right.
the gas is leaking, but they knock over liquor bottles, which catch on fire, and that spreads it to the gas stove.
It was wicked stupid, whatever it was that started the fire. It made no sense.
Yeah, it was like a record player or something really fucking dumb.
That fucking glass of milk, it burst into flames when it hit the ground.
My flaming hot Cheetos.
Just like that tanker truck we talked about earlier.
So Keenan sees the thing about to explode. He goes, "Oh, fuck!" And he runs, and it's a pretty cool effect. It's blowing up behind him. I don't know how close he was to that fire, but it looked like it was really nipping on him.
You think it's real fire?
He's running from a real fire, yeah.
I said to Jenny, I said, he's outrunning the fire. You can't outrun an explosion.
No, especially in this small apartment, but I think that must have been at least 30, 40 feet behind him. I don't know. Or it was a screen, I guess.
I still don't feel like that was real fire behind him.
I don't know how they would have achieved that effect if it wasn't real.
I feel like you would be the guy. You'd be the guy that knows.
I mean, it did not look like he was running in front of a projection or anything, which is all they could have done back then. I don't know. Maybe there was, and it was just really well done. So he just jumps out of the fucking window. We have no idea what floor he lives on, right?
Right.
It's probably like the third floor.
Yeah, it's like 3.
And he just falls on a soft top convertible and is not killed.
Are you sure it's the soft top?
Mm-hmm. Because he goes through it.
Okay. I suppose that makes sense.
And then he's laying on the steering wheel.
I think about this all the time. That is way overused in movies. I landed on a car. Because, I mean, if you think about it, like, yeah, I fell out this third floor window and landed on the concrete. Like, oh, yeah, so you popped, right?
Because sometimes it kills people and sometimes it doesn't.
But the car even? Yeah.
Right?
Lots of times they peer out the window and the person's dead
sometimes it's a hard car top and and he gets up.
Maybe that's when they do
away.
die. Soft top, you live. And hard top is like, good, we got rid of them.
Yeah.
They're dead now. The bad guy's dead.
Yep. We solved it.
So Keenan's good.
Mm-hmm. And apparently the rest of his building is perfectly fine.
Just his apartment blew up?
Just his apartment blew up. And that's when Steven comes in like, oh, shit, man. Look like they tried to get you too.
Hey, can I have these CDs? They look like they're okay.
Yeah, these CDs look like they're fine. You gotta have these. And what else does he find, Jason?
I don't know.
A cardboard box that's just sitting on the floor, full of jars.
Oh, deer penis
filled
crap.
with deer penis powder. He goes,
that's pretty fun.
You got the deer penis. He goes, shut up, man.
Hey, man, give me that. Look, it was a free sample, all right? There's a whole case over here. Man, just stay out my shit.
I fuck so good.
He's so asexual. It's like, why do you even need this?
Keenan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go, okay, we better, do something. So they pick up Brian Cox and they shoot him in the foot.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the hand.
I thought that Keenan was going to shoot him in the foot also.
Yeah, me too. And he divulges they're doing something. Because Keenan goes, terrorism? So it's something to do with terrorism.
This is 650 special new Stinger missile things?
Yep.
Okay.
At $100,000 each?
Devereaux is smuggling chemical weapons in from Russia. I made the contacts for him. The deal's being brokered by the Russian mafia. He's selling it to a bunch of Serbian freedom fighters.
You mean terrorists?
Wouldn't you gentlemen mind calling me an ambulance?
And then they drive away and he goes, what about that ambulance? So then they call Bob Gunton and they go, yeah, we know what you're doing. Steven Seagal goes, I just want my life and my career back. So if you give me your henchmen, we'll just call it square. And he goes, all right, word.
That sounds good.
And then they call the henchmen and they play the tape that he just recorded of that entire conversation.
What's that? You want me to give you my henchmen? Yeah, fuck them. Fuck Mitch Pileggi.
And he goes, what the shit?
I'm gonna kill Brian Cox.
Well, we're going to do this drug deal or whatever.
I'm gonna kill the guy from Shawshank, Bob Gunton.
So they go into a, rundown LA building, and they go into a room where I guess they're going to make the drug deal or whatever. And they close and lock the door, and Bob Gunton turns around and he goes, what's going on here? And Pileggi, he goes, well, these 5 guys are with me and we've got guns because we know what you're going to do. And the 2 guys that are with Bob Gunton pull out their guns. And I'm thinking, this is where I would say, sorry, Bob Gunton. I'm on his team now.
Yeah. Hey, man, I don't have to work for you if you aren't hiring, but I'll help you shoot this guy.
I'll kill Bob right now. He's not even looking at me. I'll shoot him in the...
I want you to not kill me. So however I can pitch in to let you know I'm not a problem. And then if you need to hire anybody, let me know.
Because what's the delineation here? Why am I on his team, but you guys are all on the same team?
I mean, he hired me. I don't care about any of you.
If you're his security guy, shouldn't you have hired all of us? And ultimately, we would all just turn on Bob Gunton. But
what if the security guy is immediately turned to Gunton and like just shot his feet up? And then they're like, later.
Yeah, we actually don't even want to work for this guy. We're just gonna get out of here. So there's a huge firefight ensues.
Well, fucking Steven Seagal and Damon Wayans are like, we got to get in there.
And Damon Wayans goes, hey, why don't we wait?
Damon Wayans didn't go shit. He isn't in this movie.
Yes, absolutely, Julian.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Steven Seagal goes, I know I told you that earlier and it made sense then as it does now. I'm just going to rush in.
Yeah. I would love to fight the 2 people that are left, but instead I'd like to unite all 9 of them to kill me.
Because here's the deal. You don't know the makeup of the room.
No.
How many men are in there?
Yeah.
And who's on whose side.
And what they got.
Right. You're walking in and it turns out now you're kind of in between them. But they're also doing a deal there.
I mean, they could have a ghost and ninja stars. Like, you didn't know about that? You're dead.
So
that wasn't good?
No, it's fantastic. I'm just really tired. I was expecting like drug guys to show up.
Yeah.
We're here for the deal. And then there's I don't know.
Funny thing you didn't know about us. We hate cops. I'm that guy.
So it's shooting. Boom, boom, boom. And Bob Gunton gets wasted.
Fast.
Super fast.
It's like some Saul Rubinek in True Romance, the way he's just out.
Draw a line up and down. And eventually Keenan chases after the henchman guy. Oddly enough, doesn't realize that he's about to be ambushed. He's ambushed. Shot, falls through a window. He's hanging off the side of the building. Steven Seagal, for some reason at this point, is on the roof. Looks down, ties a rope on him because there's a rope on the roof.
I think prior to this, when Keenan was chasing that guy, I was like, oh, this is cute. We're like, oh man, Keenan's after him, but we all know that Seagal is secretly going to intercept him, around the corner. It never happens.
No, it doesn't. And so now he just rappels down, picks up Keenan, and they crash through an old lady's window.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, can you make it to the lobby? That's my Bruce Willis. He goes, yeah.
I know it is.
All right.
Come on to the coast.
Jumps out the window and starts rappelling down. And like a good amount of time has progressed.
Yeah.
Enough time where Pileggi should have left.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He just now gets down to the lobby.
Well, you know what? Maybe it was 33 floors.
I also would have probably left through a back door.
We both think it's like 3 floors high, but maybe it's 34.
Maybe it is.
And yeah, you wouldn't walk through the lobby?
No, I would go out like a back door, a fire escape.
That makes sense.
Right. I mean,
sure. Maybe jump from the window on one floor to the building across the way through their window.
Or, I mean, if there's a soft top car on the street, just jump out the window.
Don't get it mixed up with a hard top,
right.
Or you're going to be that dead body one.
And so he goes down to walk out the front door, but lo and behold, now it's got a chain and padlock on it.
That's so fucking wild that
It's something changed in the Matrix?
They travel with it? They carry chains and padlocks with them? And why aren't you whipping people in the face with them?
What the hell? And he looks, and the old man that they were watching, who was watching them suspiciously earlier, but it turns out that he wasn't actually anything. He's gone now, and Steven Seagal's reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
So he jumps out, and they start slap boxing. They go upstairs, they're slap boxing some more.
Is that a real thing, or is that derogatory? Are you making fun of them? Or
slap boxing is a real thing.
Okay.
It's when you are open handed fighting, which is he's like windmill.
Okay.
And the guy's like, oh, I don't know what this is, but he's like, give me your best shot. And he throws the same kick twice, and Steven Seagal blocks it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your best shot. You do the same thing twice, and then he just keeps repeatedly kicking, and the guy just gets blown up. He's so winded. And Steven Seagal basically goes, you know what? I'm done with this. And he throws him through a window.
Oh, my God.
That has an iron grate on it.
Okay. Can we... my belt is somehow stabbing into me.
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So I guess it's like a security window, but it overlooks the lobby?
I feel like it's just decoration. Ornamental.
But it's
iron
grating?
still an iron grate because it's got like and shit. But it's still probably fixed to the wall.
Yeah.
He just goes right through it.
Okay, but Julian, you watch it wrap around his body as he falls. Now, can you tell me what happens in the next shot?
We see Steven Seagal looking down. The iron is completely gone. And instead, he is impaled on the iron that's on the counter of the front lobby. It's not the shit he came through. When they walk in and they see the old man eyeballing him suspiciously, even though it doesn't turn out to be anything, like I mentioned earlier, he's on like behind a desk where he sells newspapers and shit. It's like a marble countertop.
Okay.
And there is an iron thing like they used to have in like banks in like the Old West. It's like that's the partition.
Okay.
That's what he is impaled on.
Really?
Not what he fell through.
Because my impression, and Jenny and I were like, what the fuck is happening? Is that even though it curled up around him, it somehow created a perfect fence to impale him upon on the ground.
And is able to stand up erect.
It's been installed.
Yes.
He installed it somehow.
No, it's the ornamental partition on the desk thing below them. And whatever he fell through was just now gone.
I might look that up.
And he wouldn't be dead.
I paid $4 for it because it's just going through his chin.
Yeah, and it's in his brain and shit, but he'd be like, kill me.
There's more to the movie? No, it's over. That's it. He dies and we cut to black.
No. Okay, so they wheel out. Keenan's on a stretcher, and they're like taping a bandage on him for some reason. And he's like, fuck, he does a callback line from earlier in the movie, I think. And he goes, don't call me, lose my number. And they put him in a ambulance. And then the camera's like in the ambulance as it's driving away. And we're just seeing Steven Seagal standing there doing his Adam West bat thinking pose. And then it's revealed that literally like every cop, fireman, and paramedic is in the city is at this one crime scene because they're just all running around and shit. And then the movie ends. She ain't ready. There ain't a thing in this world to prove.
Will you remember to ask me about Zeus after we do the ratings?
Okay.
I kind of love this movie.
Honestly, could have been worse.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine.
It's not like amazing. The storyline's not great. It is a perfectly serviceable 80s action movie that came out in the 90s. It's like fun and entertaining enough. The mystery's a little bit smarter than it needs to be. Everybody's like a little bit better than Steven Seagal is better than he needs to be.
I was expecting a little more Keenan, and he really fades away for a while there, but I think that's probably better.
It's about an hour and a half, right? Like an hour and 36 minutes or something?
Yeah, it's an hour and 31 minutes.
Oh my God, thank you.
With credits, we're looking at an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I give this a good 6.5.
Yeah, same here.
I enjoyed it. I can't give it a 7 because it's not like an actual good movie. It was just enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't need to rate anybody in this.
Who would we?
Right, Stephen Tobolowsky.
I give him an 8.
7. He's hitting it hard. I think he's a great actor. I enjoy him.
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook. We do them filmographies. Julian, do you like emails?
I do.
What do you do with them?
I send them and I receive them.
And?
You can go to WeDoingFilmographies@gmail.com.
Goddamn, do you remember telephones?
I do.
You used to be able to call people.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can text people.
763-634-1897, you say?
I do say it. Is that it? Oh, nowplayingnetwork.net.
Where you can listen to tracks of the damned.
I've been Jason.
I've been Jules.
Good night.